Okay, so welcome to Yin. Today we'll be just doing some postures that maybe you're a little bit, you don't get a chance to do quite so frequently. We'll be opening up toes and ankles and taking care of the feet. And of course, in and around that, we'll be taking care of other joints as well. But there's going to be a bit more of a focus on kind of the joints from hips, knees, or joints from the hips down. So that's what we'll do today. Now, the props that you'll need, as always, you take as many props as you can. Just take them out of your linen closet. Just get all the pillows and everything you can possibly get, because it is a Yin class, and you want to make yourself as comfortable as you possibly can in these shapes. But to I guess put a finer point on it, a couple of blocks. We're going to use a dowel today, or something a little softer, because you'll see when we get there that it may not be your prop of choice. Bolster, what's that? Could be a broomstick, yeah, absolutely, a broomstick. Blankets, a bolster or two, and yeah, like I said, just get the kitchen sink and everything and bring it next to your mat. Okay, we'll start here. So you're invited to start in any comfortable shape. I'm going to start kneeling, but as mentioned, you can start in any way. One way, as Karen just demonstrated there, to support yourself in this kneeling shape is to grab one of your blocks and place any one, actually probably just one of the two lowest heights. Just place it in between your ankles, and then from here, just place your sit bones on your block. It'll bring a little bit more space in your knees, especially if you have sensitivity in your knees when they're deeply compressed. Okay, just allow your shoulders to soften. Pull your inner shoulder blades just gently towards each other so you get a little more spacious across your chest. We'll start with an in-breath through your nose. Open your mouth to clear it out. And stay extended or lifted through the crown of your head. Place your tongue behind your two upper front teeth. Ensure that the touch is very gentle, so your tongue stays soft and parted from the top of your mouth. Ujjayi breathing, I've also heard it called ocean breath. And just tune into the feelings, the sensations of your breathing. Just lean forward, come off your block, place your hands on your mat. We'll start on all fours. Now tuck your toes and push your hands forward into your mat so your bum moves back towards your heels. You'll feel some pressure into your toes, likely into the arches of your feet, perhaps even wrapped around your calf or towards your Achilles and calf. And again, as little or as much pressure as you feel you can breathe through. I think there's probably a collection of people out there that think I have some kind of foot fetish, because I always am doing something for the feet. I don't have a foot fetish, but I do think that they're neglected. They're a neglected part of our body, and we really, we put them in socks and stuff them in shoes and just kind of forget about them until they cause us discomfort, or we look down and we say, oh, I don't like my toes or my feet. They stink, things like that. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to give them a little love today, the love that they certainly need and deserve. Okay, bring yourself up just enough so you can untuck your toes and put the tops of your feet into the ground. Now here again, we'll start to walk our hands back towards our knees. We're going to put some pressure into the tops of your feet in front of your ankles. Again, what that pressure feels like, or how much pressure you'd like to put in, is up to you. You can walk your hands even further back towards your heels, even behind your heels, on your toes, and even so much so that you can lift your knees and you're on the tops of your toenails and the tops of your feet here. It's helping to open up your ankles. Now, if we do any of this stuff, and again, might be new for you, there might be a lot of sensation in your feet or coursing through your body with this. If you start to contort your face grotesquely, or just basically, something like that, and stop breathing, you've probably gone a little too far. And what Karen's doing is probably something that might also help to just maybe soften the compression that you might feel in your knees, again, if that's not a healthy thing for you to feel. Just a couple more breaths here. Now move, if your knees are lifted, move them back onto your mat. And walk your hands just a little further forward. And we'll do one more thing with our toes touched. So tuck your toes. Walk your hands back to where they came from, back towards your feet. You can place your hands on your thighs, and again, we're going to put pressure into our toes. And this is probably a little bit more pressure than what we were doing last time. You can reduce the pressure by moving your chest forward. You can deepen it by moving your torso back. And we'll hold here. Again, remember about facial tension. Use that as a guide. Also, your breathing patterns as a guide to tell you if you're doing too much or applying too much sensation, bringing too much sensation to your body. And we'll come off our toes now. Just go onto one hip, sweep your feet around. And you may find it helpful here to grab a block if you like to sit on, just get a little height. You can sit your bum on a block if you'd like. Now what I'd like you to do is bring the soles of your feet together. So this is butterfly pose. Your feet can be walked a little closer towards you, or they can even be put a little further away. Here your blocks may be helpful, just supporting the weight of your legs. If there's a lot of sensation in your thighs or outer hips and you'd like to mute those sensations, just wedge the blocks here. Or you can just move them to the side and lean forward. Now thread your fingers in between your toes if you can. This is just an option, you don't have to, but toe spreaders, just use your fingers like toe spreaders. As mentioned, we often put our feet in shoes, and those shoes sometimes have narrowness at the top, and that can really just kind of bung up the lines of energy that move right down to the tips of our toes here. Now in this posture, just lean forward. You can, as always, have a few choices here to make. One can be to keep the weight of your head supported. The other can be to just relax the muscles of your neck so the weight of your head is held in the pose. And you might feel that down your middle back, upper middle back. And if it's a little too much sensation there, again, just lift your head. And eyes either open or softly closed. Try to keep your breath deep and your exhalations long. And on every breath, just allowing the posture to evolve as it will. I'm not trying to force anything here. If the opportunities are presenting themselves to get deeper into the pose, just start to lean a little bit further forward, or relax the musculature of your neck just a little bit more. start to lift your torso. Always support yourself coming out of these shapes as completely as you need to. Unstitch your fingers from your toes, take your hands behind you, and place the soles of your feet on the ground. Just a gentle rock of your knees here from side to side. Okay. And with your bum centered about the middle of your mat, extend your legs, and here I will use a block. So once again, if you'd like to get a pillow, or if you have a foam block, grab the foam block. So we'll lengthen through the back body here. And in this posture, unlike a what we call Paschimottanasana, where it's a very engaged, legs are very strong in the forward fold, here I'd just like you to relax your legs. So for many, there'll be an outturn of your toes, your inner thighs will kind of roll upwards, and then just allow the weight of your torso to come forward over top of your thighs. Now this may be a place where you'd like to use a bolster. And a lot of different ways. You can hug the bolster in, allow the weight of your torso to rest into the bolster. You can move the bolster between your ankles or shins. Just allow the weight of your head and torso to be held in this way. You can place the bolster across your thighs, and just however you can find some support with the bolster. It's a good prop to use in this one. And when you do relax the muscles of your neck, there's an increased tension down the tissues in the back of your neck and the upper back. So probably felt the closest to your neck. So that's again upper middle back, but you might feel it even further than that. But if that feeling is very uncomfortable, just keep your head lifted. Slowly come out of your pose. Once again, if a little mini back bend is in the cards for you, just take your hands behind you, lift your chest, pull your shoulders back, and rock your toes from side to side if you'd like. Just before we come off our bum, I'd like you to take one ankle, let's say your left one, like I have, just roll your ankle clockwise, counterclockwise. And switch feet. I think the reason I guess the feet, one of the reasons is because the feet are often neglected, I think, in class, but any imbalance in your feet, it just has nowhere to go. It can't go into the ground and create imbalance there, so it radiates upwards into your knees, into your hips and lower back, and obviously once it's in those places, certainly can't be ignored anymore, and it becomes very challenging even just moving without discomfort or pain. Okay, now we'll go to come around once again to all fours. Now here is where, again, props could be handy, but I'd like you to grab, it could be like a broomstick, or there's something softer. You may find that really works for you as well, or you can wrap a towel around the broomstick. But take it just in between your hamstrings and your calves, and come to sit down. So essentially what's happening here is there's not a lot of knee openers in yoga, but this is one way to do it. Again, probably not the most comfortable posture you've ever been in, but it essentially anchors down your lower leg bones. And then when you sit down and put some pressure here, your thigh bones start to lift up and create space around your knee joint. So again, let's take Oh, yeah, that's a lot of sensation there. And your knees, very much like many joints, they need space. But there's not a lot of ways or postures that we do that can bring space into our knees specifically. This is one way to do it. Just 3 more breaths. Follow every in-breath right to the top. Notice that brief pause there. And then full exhalation. A similar space at the bottom of your exhalation when there's a pause. And 2 more breaths. Bring ourselves out or forward so you can move whatever prop that you have in between your thighs and calves. And then we'll set up, it's called saddle pose. So again, this is going to be a deep compression in your knees. It's also a back bend and quite a thigh opener for me and my body, quite a thigh opener, and depending on how far you go back, you might find that it also opens a lot the muscles in the front of your pelvis. So I like to use not just one bolster, but I like to start with 2. And depending on how long I'm going to hold this posture, oftentimes I'll just kind of get up, push one aside, and then I'll come back onto the one. So you decide what works best for you. Now there is an alternate posture for this as well. Again, if deep compression is in your knees is just not in the cards for you, lie right down onto your back and then place a block underneath your pelvis. So your pelvis is lifted, they're still opening, it's more gentle. No compression in your knees because your legs extend out fully. And there's some gentle opening in the front of your thighs. Yeah, if you could demo that just for a moment. Yeah, just like this. Perfect. Yeah. Okay, so use your hands to support you on the way down. Don't worry if your knees lift up here. You may find you can just even hang out here on your hands. If you can go a little bit further, and some people can just flop right back. That is not my body's way of doing this. I'm just going to ease myself into it and just let your arms hang heavily. For me, my legs part somewhat. For others, your knees may be a little closer together. There's no specific right way. It's just your way here. In your exhalation, just try to relax into the pose. And being very aware of facial tension, grinding your teeth, squinting your eyes, and certainly being aware of unkind thoughts. Let's go for 5 more deep breaths here. Again, support yourself coming out of your pose, of course. Come out slowly. I like to curl myself off the bolster. Push your hands in to bring you back up to neutral. Just take a moment there. forward. Walk your hands forward, bring your knees back in. If they're wider than your hips, and just move over onto one hip. Sweep your feet around. And just move your props to the side here just for a moment. And get that space into your knees. You probably feel some blood flow coming back into your knees and your toes. And recline all the way onto your back. Your block or your height, push down through your feet, lift your pelvis, place it on your block, and lift one knee and then the other knee. And we're going to take this into a supported happy baby. So take your hands to your shins and you just allow the weight of your arms to pull your knees wider than your hips. And tension in your inner thighs, compression in your outer hips might be quite noticeable here. You can keep your hands as they are, the weight of your legs or the weight of your arms, just holding your legs open in this way, or you can reach up towards your ankles or your feet, or heaven from here, a gentle pull from the outer edges of your feet down into your shoulders. So you feel your shoulder blades coming closer to your mat. This is a happy baby pose, supported happy baby. Lower them to your mat and move the block out from underneath you. And then shift your bum over to the left side of your mat and cross your left thigh over top of your right thigh. You're welcome to take a variation of this twist. I just like to get a little more stretch through your outer hips, because we've done some stuff that's taken our knees wider than our hips and compressing that area. So take your knees over towards the right edge of your mat. Extend your arms out at shoulder height. Try to inch your right shoulder a little closer towards that side of your mat. And turn your head, if it's okay and safe for your neck to turn in this way, turn your head to look towards your left hand on the left side. Breathe all the way up so you can feel your breath expand, your rib cage open up. That's where you feel it from your outer left hip all the way up to your left shoulder, left side of your chest. And then all that tension relax throughout your exhalation. If your head is turned, look up towards the ceiling. Unwrap your legs, your left from your right, and with both feet grounded, start to shift your knees back up and your bum back to the middle of your mat. Just a moment before going to the other side. Again, it can either be knees alternately come up, or you can bring them both up at the same time for a loose or deep connection close to your torso. And then place your feet back down, move your bum to the right side of your mat. This time cross your right leg over your left one, and twist towards the left side. Try to just inch your shoulder towards the left edge of your mat, so your right shoulder comes a little closer to your mat as well if it's lifted. And then turn over towards, or to look towards your right fingertips. Breathe deeply here. Again, so you feel expansion from your outer left hip, or outer right hip, to your right. Reposition your head so you're looking up towards the ceiling. Unwind your right leg from your left one. Come back to the middle of your mat. And bring your knees up into your chest. Again, that can be at the same time or alternately. Just rock from side to side. Move your ankles, move your toes independently. If you like to deepen the fold, bring your nose up towards your knees, pull your thighs a little closer towards your torso, and then the next posture, the yinniest of them all, Shavasana. Take your heels to the top two corners of your mat. If that seems restricting, take them a little wider. Your arms, again, have that same options to be close to your sides, or you can think starfish where your arms are quite distant from your torso. Take this next exhalation a little more of an exaggerated way where you pull your belly button back towards your spine very intentionally, then breathe into your belly, into your chest. Hold at the top for a count of 3, 2, 1, then open your mouth. Let it go. Soften your lips closed, eyes as well. Shavasana. Reach your arms back, push forward with your toes, breathe deeply in, fully out. and roll over onto your right side. Just take a moment in the fetal position. And then push into your left hand and make your way to a comfortable seat. And once you're seated, bring your palms together, your hands a little closer to you. Thank you for taking the time to practice. Namaste. And remember, love your feet. They love you.